Hello there, Citrus Aviation here with another video, and today we're going to talk about not the funnest topic, but it's repairing your models. So if you are a diecast model collector, models just tend to break over time, and in today's video I hope to show you how to repair your models. So I have in front of me 6 different models, and they all have different issues with them that I need to repair, and I'm going to show you how to do that. Super glue is going to be your number one friend in this technique that I'm going to show you. And I have every situation that you will encounter pretty much with standard damage on models, with the exception of wings coming apart. But I can show you that in a future video. But yeah, today we're doing the ultimate guide to repairing your models. So for this guide to walk the way I intended to, you will need 3 things. You'll need a model to repair. So I've got a bunch here. For example, this Southwest 737-700, which its horizontal stabilizers came off. So we're going to be doing that. You will need some super glue. I have some Gorilla super glue right here. And then you will need some just normal tissues. Alright, so the first commonly encountered issue with model aircraft is when the vertical stabilizer falls off the model. I have 2 examples of that for you today. Here I have this Delta MD-88. This is the 2014 release. You can see it came out here. And then I have an American 757-200 in the silver chrome with the same issue. You can see that's terrible. It also has a landing gear missing, which we'll get to later in the video, how to do that. But for this guide, this is one of the simplest repairs. This also works if you have 2-piece wings. So the Delta MD has 2-piece wings. This will work pretty much the same with 2-piece wings to fix that, because there's the way they make the molds. There's like a little hole here, and this little insert slot. And into this little insert slot here is where you're going to put the glue. Alright, so I'm going to take off this glue carefully. And you'll want the Kleenex or some sort of cleaning agent to use for when you have to use it to like wash your hand, clean your hands or something like that. If you do get super glue on them, go and wash them right away. I'm going to open this super glue off camera, then I'll be right back. Alright, so I've now opened the super glue container. Alright, so to repair this, all I have to do is to put a dab of super glue into here. See, that kind of went out to the edge. Alright, so I put the super glue on, and then all I have to do is put in the tail section. And the glue should dry in place. I was doing that super quick. The downside of using super glue is that it is a very fast setting. Alright, there we go. I got it. So you do want to be careful. Another strategy you can use to try to put the super glue on the object itself, so I'll do that now. Put the Delta MD aside. We'll try to put this into focus. Alright, so we dab that on. And all I have to do is slide it into position. As you can see, that went right in. And the Delta MD-8 you can tell, its vertical stabilizer is now reapplied. And so that's how you fix tails and wings. Alrighty, so I just washed my hands after using the super glue, which is a very good idea. And then the next thing that we're going to do is to move these models aside, these two models aside, and we're going to let them set for about 24 hours before putting it back onto the airport in a box or something like that. That allows the glue 24 hours to set, which is plenty of time to harden, because while it does set like within about a minute, it does take a while for these to hard set in. Alright, so I'm going to move those two out of the way. And then we're going to do this one, the Southwest 73700. This one has issue where the horizontal stabilizers came out, so it's supposed to go in like this. However, it has come off. This is going to be even harder on the newer German Jets versions. This is a German Jets model. The newer ones are even harder as they're made out of plastic. This section is made out of plastic, but on the slightly older ones, like this one, they're made out of metal. So the way to do this one is to put a tiny dab of super glue inside that little hole there. And then is to carefully slide it into position. And then it should set in place. Again, you want to let it set for at least 24 hours on this one as well. Alright, so the next repair is repairing gear, and this one is very hard because some gear, like on this CRJ-200, are really tiny. You can see the really tiny gear hole there. It's barely visible, but the gear is supposed to go in that hole just like this. It's even hard for me to just thumb it in, but there you go. It's supposed to go in like that. And you can see that it fell out. So so there's two ways of doing this. You can either put a little super glue in the hole and then push the gear in, or on these CRJ-200s, can we do this? Yeah, possibly. You can put a little bit of glue in the hole where the gear is supposed to be. Because you can see as you can see, it moves around there, it doesn't quite stay in, so there's a little bit of room for you just put some glue in after you align the gear the way you want to. I'm going to actually try that. Okay, let me line this gear up, and then we're going to put some glue in. Let's see, how do I want this to go? Like that. Alright, and then we're just going to put in a tiny dab of glue. Yep. Of this, I'm going to put the model on a piece of protective paper, on a piece of paper here, just in case, a piece of that tissue paper, just in case some glue runs off onto the paper. So I just applied a little bit extra glue as that appears to have been needed as the gear wasn't staying in place. So we'll see how this sets. Alrighty, so I just came back from washing my hands, and we're now going to move this one over to the side to let that one set. Again, want to set these for 24 hours if preferable. If you have multiple things you need to do on that model, that may not be possible, but I do recommend that if you can. Alright, So the next one, this is also gear related. This is going to be a more typical situation. So we're going to bring back this American 757 that I've glued the tail onto. Let's first check to see how sturdy it is. Yeah, it appears to be pretty good now. It's been setting for about 10-20 minutes. Alright, so I'm going to put that gently down its tail. Alright. And then we're going to do the landing gear for this aircraft as well. As you can see, with this aircraft, the gear for this side has come off. So before you put it on, you want to do a test run, like see how it's going to fit in there. So you can see that's how it's supposed to fit in. You can see this gear is also a little wonky. So how this happened is it kind of fell off a stand, and so that's what caused this incident here. So, for these aircraft, it is fairly simple. You just put a little dab of glue right inside the gear hole, and then you put the gear on top, and you should be good. So let me just zoom out a little bit. And I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just put a dab of glue. Then I'm going to put the gear in, and we should be good. And there we go. Now we just put the small side, and let it sit. Alrighty. So the final two models we have to repair are both 1/200 scale models. This one is a German Jets Plastics model, and they only made one of these ever. The reason for them only making one probably has to do with something with the fact that these landing gear like to break all the time. I've had this problem with this model a bunch of times. These main bogies keep breaking all the time, and so they have to be super glued. Now these actually just snap right off. I can show you right here. They just keep snapping right off. This side too. And so to fix it, I just gonna put some glue here. I put the gear there and hold it. Well, it took some messing around with that wheel, but I did finally get it in. And that's just kind of the way it is with these models. Sometimes the German Jets Plastics are really difficult to work with, and that's probably why they only end up making one of them. Alright, so we're going to move this model aside. Let that set. And we've got one more model for you guys today. Whoopsie. United A319. Alright, so this has the common engine issue and nose gear. Nose gear on this model is a lot simpler to fix as it snapped right off from the body. So this I'm just going to put a dab of glue here. Put the gear in place and hold it for about a minute or so. Or we just kind of let go at that point. As you can see, it looks like it is in. Super glue works really fast, which is one nice thing about it. Now for a lot of engines, often these can just slide into place, but this one, it broke off instead of sliding off. So this, we're going to need to put a piece of glue here on the end of the engine. And then I'm going to just slip the engine on. looks like we got on. I mean, it's a little bit off, but that's kind of what happens with this kind of situation. So, we're going to let these dry, and then we're going to take a look at the results. Alrighty, so it has now been over a day later, so we're going to take a look at these models to see how they turned out, and give you an idea of how super gluing model parts back together to bring them to their original look, how that works. So, here on the United CRJ 200, we put in the gear, and you can see that it looks pretty good. The only issue that you might notice, there's a little bit of glue around and behind the gear, but other than that, it's as good as new. You would never know they was ever had to be glued, so that turned out really well. The Delta 737-700 has kind of always been a little messed up with the bazillion of times I have to keep doing this gear, but it looks alright. I mean, the gears no longer roll, but that's okay. They do at least stay there. The United A319, as you can see, gluing on these parts cost a lot of glue mess. However, the nose gear, surprisingly, still rolls. And the engine is now at least on. And one thing you may notice, there is a lot of glue glob. Just bring that into focus. See, there's a bunch of glue globs there. And then also the other place where glue kind of went on is here on the main fuselage. However, I do think this glue actually looks kind of cool. The way it has this dirty effect. It kind of makes this balsa gray livery look really worn and used, which I actually really like that look. So, that was maybe the messiest model right here, but I think the super glue worn effect actually looks pretty cool. It looks like this aircraft's been working very hard for the airline for a long time. And a bunch of these balsa gray A319s did have this look. So we're next going to do the American 757-200 in the silver chrome. As you can see here, the tail has been put together so that looks like the incident where the tail came off never happened. I mean, there is a little bit of a spacing thing right here in front of the tail, but that's kind of because the super glue requires some space too. And I'm really happy with the way the main gear turned out. It looks like it never even happened. I mean, if you do lift up a little bit, you can kind of tell one of the gears a little bit off. And when it fell off the stand, it kind of bent one of the gears, the one that fell off a little bit. But other than that, this one turned out really, really good. So I'm very happy about that one. And then the Delta MD-88. See the tail section? You can kind of tell where the glue was super glue. This is actually, I think, the second time I've had to do this with this model. But you can see kind of a little bit of bare metal there. But other than that, this one turned out really well as well. You can see a bit more of the bare metal here. But this turned out really well. And then finally, the Southwest 737-700. It looks like it never happened. This looks just so good with the fact that they will do a little dab of glue inside the middle. Then just put the horizontal stabilizers back on. So, yeah. So for all that, you can yourself also fix your own model aircraft, whatever scale they are, whatever the problem is, there's almost always a way to fix your model. And so that's something I always encourage. It'll help the lifespan of your models a lot, because a lot of these you can fix them, make it almost look like it never even happened. So I hope you guys found this guide to be very useful, and hopefully we can preserve more models to have them last longer. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.